Rosindra longs to live on the other side of the world.
I've wanted New Zealand for so long, and all the points in my life, the big decisions I've made, kind of was aiming towards how it would get me to New Zealand.
But her very British husband, Chris, is a lot less passionate about the move.
To be honest, I can't see our lifestyle being very different to what it is now.
Their differences have put them under pressure.
So for me, it is crunch time, and I just hope Chris realises this.
My concern is that she's chasing after a lifestyle that maybe isn't there anymore.
A trial week in New Zealand sees expectations fulfilled.
The house ticks all the boxes and extra.
Preconceived ideas challenged.
This is the house I would move halfway across the world for.
And commitment questioned.
I've got a bit of cold feet and I'll be honest, I'm just a little bit afraid now.
Stay in the UK or go down under? It's all to play for. Famous the world over for its scenic diversity, New Zealand boasts spectacular geographic backdrops from beaches to rainforests and active volcanoes. And now, after decades of immigration, its population is as diverse as the landscape, in the country often referred to as the land of the long white cloud. Chris and Rosindra Atkins are a husband and wife with two very different personalities. She wants to throw caution to the wind and follow her wildest dreams. He believes that slow and steady wins the race. Across 1 week, they'll put their approaches head to head as they see the sort of life they could lead and afford if they relocated down under, before voting on where their future lies. After a marathon journey flying from London to Sydney via Dubai and then on to Wellington, the Atkins family arrive at their final destination in surprisingly fine fettle.
Right, we're good. Piece of cake.
The last 20 plus hours have been really fun. The kids have enjoyed it.
I watched some movies. I saw loads of different countries.
Little Sarah isn't quite as impressed as Lucy, though.
It was so boring that I have to wait all the time.
Rosindra's delighted to be a step closer to her dream.
It's held its magic since 2000 when I first came here. So I do hope I fall back in love with New Zealand.
But Chris is not committed just yet.
A little apprehensive about the job interviews and seeing what opportunities there might be for us. And if I'm suitably impressed, then I will be voting for New Zealand. If I'm not, then I may be unsure.
For now at least, Rosindra's positively buzzing.
Can't wait to go. Let the magic begin.
Let's hope the sun shines, as the family will need to soak up as much as they can over the next 7 days before deciding on which side of the world their future lies. The Atkins family are Dad, Chris, Mum, Rosindra, Lucy, age 5, and Sarah, who's 4. They live in the town of Bracknell in south-east England. Ever since the couple got together 6 years ago, talk of New Zealand has been a constant, sometimes sensitive subject.
Chris has known about my New Zealand dream since day one.
Something she's been banging on about for ever since I've known her, really.
It's a passion that all started when Rosindra, from an Indian community in the Malay Peninsula, visited New Zealand 17 years ago.
Rose's dream is bordering on an obsession. My concern is that she's chasing after a lifestyle that maybe isn't there anymore.
Looks like there's tough discussions ahead for the couple.
Any discussion about kids, money, finances, where we live, I bring the New Zealand thing up because I feel like why not we give it a try?
I do worry that she can be a little bit impulsive, and perhaps I'm the balance to that.
And it's having two young daughters that's driving Rosindra to make the move.
I've always thought if I had kids, I'd like to bring them up in New Zealand. I've grown up in Malaysia where you're outside most of the time. You come back from school and boom, you're outside. Things are different over here.
So the answer for Rosindra is New Zealand, and the time to move is now.
In a few years' time, it will be harder to take the kids out of school and move them down. So for me, it is crunch time, and I just hope Chris realises this.
Does Mummy want one? Yeah, I think I do take her seriously, and I've said I will look at the whole proposition, and if it's viable, then we can give it a go.
But it looks like Chris is wearing his sensible hat.
To be honest, I can't see our lifestyle being very different to what it is now. And I think that she will be surprised by the climate. The climate in New Zealand is very similar to how it is in the UK.
So Mum and Dad are on different pages, but are the girls singing from the same hymn sheet?
I would miss my friend called Marin and Amelia and all my teachers and all my classmates. I'm going to miss David.
The children are bouncing and Rosindra is bursting with anticipation as the trial week approaches.
I hope the dream is still alive, the things are as magical as they used to be when I first saw them.
For Chris, however, it's all about the practicalities.
The main thing that's got to be right about New Zealand is the work and getting the right opportunity for us to support the family.
It's fair to say that when it comes to the week ahead, the pressure is definitely on.
I don't want to be here in Bracknell at 60 years of age, looking after my grandchild and sitting back and thinking, oh geez, I wonder what would have happened if we tried out New Zealand. I don't want that to happen.
Of course, there is always one other outcome.
What if I'm the one who's inspired and I say, yeah, let's go tomorrow, and now you don't want to go because you've seen what the weather's really like?
I'm a bit scared of that.
For their trial week, the Atkins are staying northeast of Wellington in the Upper Hutt region. By the time they arrive at their temporary accommodation, it's too late for tiny tots, so it's straight to bed. Next morning, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, the family take in their new surroundings.
I drew the curtains and it's absolutely beautiful.
We were struck by the scenery, really. It really is beautiful around here.
Despite having only been in the country a few hours, Rosindra's already imagining what life could be like here.
I love it, the kids love it, and I wish I could stay forever.
But she also knows there's still a lot to consider.
I feel there is pressure. I should deliver to Chris. I hope Chris is honest enough to tell me that he loves the place and that we hope to start our life here.
I don't think I'm going to buckle in the face of such pressure, but it has been a dream for quite some time, and hopefully we can make it happen, and I'm hopeful.
It's a positive start, but the country will have to deliver in the next 7 days if Chris is to fully commit to a life on the other side of the world. Back in the UK, home for the Atkins is a 3-bedroom semi in Bracknell, and it's fair to say they like where they live.
The house we've got and the location we've got is a very good one. We're a few minutes walk from the school, and Bracknell's awash with cycleways, byways and highways. You can get from one side of the town to the other without even walking on a road.
So what type of property are they after in New Zealand?
Physically a bigger house because I like to have a dog or a cat.
It would be nice to have a house with a more open sort of kitchen diner area. You can cook and you can see the family, and you have space for actually a dining table in the kitchen area. That would be nice to see.
They'll have a budget of £320,000 to play with, but Chris isn't looking for anything fancy.
We're looking for a modest house, something like what we've got now, with a little bit of green space, space for the obligatory barbecue. You just chill out, put some loungers out the back. I don't think we're after a show house. We're not really show house people.
To find out what kind of home their money could get them, we'll show the family 3 properties, 2 based on budget and a third which could be their dream home. The search begins in Upper Hutt. Surrounded by bush-clad mountains, the township has become popular in recent years as prices in the Wellington area increased. What will they make of this 4-bedroom home?
Beautiful looking place. I like the garden out the front.
It's not wooden. You didn't want
It's
wooden,
all brick built. It looks good.
Big thumbs up from Chris. And inside, Rosinja is getting excited too.
Do you like it? I like it. The way you park at the front and you walk in through the front door, and the hallway is great. It's certainly bigger than our current home in the UK, so I'm happy. I can't wait to see the rest of the place.
A good start.
This is the main living area. Nice.
Oh, it's very bright.
I like the mural on the wall.
It is hard to miss, to be fair.
It's much bigger than what we have.
And a dining area.
I like it.
The dining area is quite cool.
It's all very positive, but it's not long before Chris begins to have doubts.
Perhaps slightly dated, and I think we would be looking for a slightly more modern look.
Well, that's fair enough. Meanwhile, the girls know what they want.
Can we go and play outside now?
Yes, you can.
Yay!
Mum and Dad, meanwhile, continued their tour.
Yeah, after you.
Oh, thank you.
Next stop, the kitchen.
It's nice and compact.
I'll be honest, it's a bit small. It would be nice to have a bigger kitchen. But
Yeah, it could do with a little bit of modernisation.
Well, it is a far cry from the open-plan kitchen on their wish list.
I like the fact that I'm cutting and cooking. I can watch the kids and I can tell them, oi, sit down. Oi, switch the TV off, do your homework, and cook. Yeah, you can't get everything you want in life.
Unfortunately, that's so.
Hey, you got it.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, yeah. So let's scratch that. You can get some of the things you want.
Oh, sweet. Moving on, however, styling in the main bedroom also fails to impress.
Feels like one of the houses in the UK. It feels like your grandma's house.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Maybe the bathroom can wow them.
Hey, something's missing.
What's missing?
I prefer the toilet to be in here. Maybe it's next door. Okay, let's go and find the toilet and see if we can break the wall and put it all in one.
Oh. Should cross?
Yeah, it is
nice.
the toilet. So,
Yeah, I don't think you're really going to knock that together, are you?
we can't.
I think so.
We can't.
Wait until you move in before knocking stuff down, Rosinja. With 4 bedrooms, the house definitely has enough space for the whole family, and the double garage is an added bonus. And outside makes an impression.
Oh, wow, it's lovely.
I love the decking area.
So there is a bit of space.
But the jury's still out.
It's a bit dated, but it's got some life in it. It's a bit like you, Chris.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks. So there's life in the old dog yet.
I can say that again.
Steady on, Rosinja. Let's get back to business. Does the price fit the £320,000 budget?
Come on then.
Okay. Well, it's £305,000, so that is within our budget.
That's an impressive £15,000 under budget.
I mean, this is a steal.
Yeah, I think it's really good value for the price. Let's hope this is representative of what we can find out here.
Only one house down and things are motoring nicely. Can Property 2 keep things on track? Lucy and Sarah are happy with childminders, and we're going a bit further north to Birchville, about 1 hour from Wellington. Chris and Rosinja seem smitten from the off.
Yeah, it's certainly got the wow factor.
I love the area. I like that you're almost driving into a nature reserve area. I mean, this is somewhere I would look at to go and stay for a week's holiday in Wales or somewhere in the Lake District.
And you can't get more beautiful than that. Off to a flying start, but will inside this 5-bedroom, 3-garage house continue to impress?
Look.
Wow.
Certainly different from the first house.
Wow, yeah.
And it's got the layout they're after.
Yeah, it's very, very open plan.
And this is a huge living space. I think our living room is half of this.
Once again, it's Chris who has doubts.
The only concern I'd have here is heating it in the winter. It's a very big open space, single glazed windows. I think we'd need that wood burner.
And Rosindra's initial warm glow cools as she gets worried about the price.
I absolutely love what I'm seeing, but I think it might be a bit above our budget.
Unfortunately, it might be.
Onwards to the main bedroom, which unusually is on the ground floor. So will this put them off?
I think this is a good-sized master bedroom.
I like the built-in wardrobes, built-in cupboards.
But Chris has spotted the floor.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'd be too happy close to the road like that. And downstairs as well. Normally we live upstairs.
However, the positives keep stacking up and Chris is coming round in the ensuite.
Yeah,
Toilet's there, so I'm happy.
Actually, it's nicely tiled, nicely finished, which is really nice. Yeah, I like it.
Upstairs boasts another 4 spacious and very colourful bedrooms.
It's huge up here. It's got real character.
This is a house you'd be proud to have friends over and family over and say, this is why I moved halfway across the world.
Sliding on into the main bathroom now.
Ah, it's a family bathroom.
Oh, it is really nice.
You can have a bath with a view.
I hope that view is one way. As they relocate downstairs, the outlook is good because outside is magnificent.
Wow.
There's a lot of space.
Oh, the outside's lovely. I've done a lot with it.
I got my roses here, so I'm happy.
Roses.
Rosindra is getting very excited now.
Your allotment patch over there, and you've still got the outside space for the kids to play. You can kick the ball around.
In the beginning, Chris was sceptical about New Zealand. Is he beginning to see the light?
This is a place you would want to bring people to, entertain, barbecue out the back. You could play your football, badminton, whatever you like at the back there.
The house ticks all the boxes and extra. Have to wait and see how much it costs.
That is the big question. What do they think it's worth?
322.
Well, I think about 375.
Oh no, that's my dream home.
Well,
Don't crush my dream.
that's why it's a dream home. Shall we see?
Yes, come on then.
Here we are. How much is it? 330,000. Wow. Which makes this house pretty affordable.
This is like a proper dream home.
So, you happy with that valuation?
I am super duper happy, Chris.
Rosindra can hardly believe her luck, and there's still one more property to go. We found what we think could be the couple's dream home, and it's just 10 minutes up the road from the second property.
Wow.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Looks a bit neat and tidy for me.
Early indications of divided opinions. Will the inside impress?
Yeah, it is really, really well done inside. It's new, it's modern, it's contemporary.
It's neat and tidy. That's up your street.
Yeah, this is closer to my dream house than it is to yours.
The kitchen, however, works for both Rosindra and Chris.
This kitchen is much bigger than the second house, and I do like a big kitchen.
But
I don't see us in this house because it's very neat and tidy.
It's much too tidy for you.
Yes, yeah, it is. The lawn is very well kept, and the grass is green, it's beautiful.
perfect for Chris, in other words.
I hate gardening, but I would enjoy cutting that lawn. I would come home from work to cut that lawn. Yeah, it looks lovely.
Now that is high praise. But split opinions continue into the living area.
Oh, this is a lovely breakout area.
It's huge.
It's a beautiful area for relaxing.
Throw some bean bags, throw some toys around, and then it'll be our house.
Well, Chris is nodding, but I'm not sure he's a beanbag sort of guy. Will the main bedroom bridge the divide?
Ooh, look. Wow, walk-in wardrobe.
It had to be the walk-in wardrobe.
Looking positive, and through the next door.
Yay!
Oh, wow, the ensuite.
Do you like your clean white lines there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is ticking all the boxes. This is exactly what I've been looking for. This is the house I would move halfway across the world for.
Chris is captivated. Rosindra, on the other hand...
It looks like a hotel room suite. Just need to bring my stuff in and mess it up a little, then it'll look like home.
However, is she sensing that Chris might be coming round to the idea of a New Zealand home?
For me, this is the best of the properties we've seen so far.
Look, we'll do a deal, all right? If you bring me and the kids down, I'll keep the house neat and tidy.
Okay,
You up for that?
It's a deal.
Well, that's a step forward. But even outside this house, Rosindra just isn't seeing what Chris is seeing.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
It's beautiful. It's just, I don't see my vegetable plots having any space in this very well manicured garden. So I don't see that.
Is his dream house affordable on their £320,000 budget?
All right, crunch time.
Okay, it is crunch time. Yeah, I think this is going to be at the top of the range. 400,000, what would you say?
No,
Maybe
I think
a bit
it's too
more?
much. 370.
370?
7.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Is the moment of truth. It's £395,000. Well, nearly 400,000 is not insurmountable if we both get good jobs and we're working.
So all you need to do is make the first step, come to New Zealand.
The house hunting may have seen Chris begin to waver about living down under after a day viewing 3 quite different properties. House number 1 had a lived-in charm but needed a lot of work and didn't set the hearts racing. But at £305,000 was well within budget. Property 2 was Rosindra's perfect home. It had space, colour and a very pretty garden, with a price tag that was just over budget but very manageable. House number 3 ticked all of Chris's boxes with its sleek modern feel, but for Rosindra just wasn't homely enough. At £395,000, it looks like they wouldn't be moving in anytime soon. So when it comes to Kiwi homes, will Chris and Rosindra vote for the UK or Down Under?
After a day's house hunting in Wellington, New Zealand, it's time to vote on the properties that we've seen today. New Zealand!
New Zealand! Woohoo! Well done, Chris. Correct answer, New Zealand. I'm pleased with you. 10 points for Chris.
A vote for New Zealand homes is a huge step in the right direction for Rosindra's dream. But she knows unless Chris can be convinced of good job prospects down under, they won't be going anywhere. Back in the UK, he works as an information manager and data analyst in the local council, or as it's called in the business, GIS.
GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. We publish maps onto our website using data and map-based data.
Until recently, Rosindra also worked for the council on environmental policy.
It came to a time when they had to make certain cuts and my department had to do some cuts and my role was no longer needed as a full-time role, so they let me go.
Relocating to New Zealand would be an opportunity for them both to move to the private sector.
I'd love to work with perhaps a wider zone of interest than the local authority has now. The private sector affords those opportunities for you to get involved in large difference-making projects.
Currently, his type of job should be the ticket for us to get in. But with Chris being a bit apprehensive, we also not just need to find him a job that allows us to apply for a visa, he needs to find a job that he's comfortable in.
And how much does Chris need to earn?
Realistically, I would be looking for a salary around £35,000 to £40,000 as a starting point.
Without a shadow of a doubt, the work prospects in New Zealand are top of his priorities.
If there were no opportunities for me in New Zealand, I'd be very reluctant to make the move.
Rosindra, on the other hand, is willing to improvise.
I will work in a supermarket or I will be a bin man if it means Chris getting his visa or starting new down under.
Today, we'll give the couple the opportunity to explore their chances of finding work down under. And for both, it's a tale of two expats. Rosindra is hooking up with Steve, originally from Maidstone in Kent. He's a recruiter at a large engineering and consultancy firm.
Do you want to come through?
Yeah, sure.
While Chris is meeting Scott, originally from Scotland, at Wellington-based technology firm Eagle Technology. And straight away he zones in on the killer question.
Do you think with my skill set I'd be able to get a job here?
I mean, GIS is a shortage area for us just now in New Zealand. You could work almost anywhere in the country, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially through local government. Every council in the country uses GIS. I think we're lucky here that in New Zealand a lot of the public sector is doing some really creative and innovative things, so you wouldn't necessarily need to look at the private sector.
That's very different to the UK.
So, good news right away. Across town with Rosindra, it's an equally good start.
I'm looking for a role where it ties in with conservation, ecology, urban sustainability. I'm looking at roles in that line.
We're in a good area at the moment because the government is spending a lot of money on things like infrastructure and housing. So we're getting more than our fair share of work.
Would I come in and be able to get a job?
Your background in planning, sustainability and environmental science would be valuable to other organisations. And the fact that you've done project management as well, that's a really good tick in your box as well.
That's good.
Fantastic. Back with Chris and Scott, they're talking visas.
Working in the UK, not a lot of organisations hire from overseas. Will government organisations in New Zealand hire from overseas?
I know that from Eagle's perspective, where I work here, we've got a very mixed set of people who work here from all around the world.
And it's a question also on Rosindra's mind.
Myself and some of the team went to the UK in February and ran a bit of a workshop and actually I think we've employed 6 people now directly from the UK.
Oh, Steve, you missed me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Where was I in February?
Chris, meanwhile, has moved on to talk about the all-important issues of hours and pay.
So I've looked at your CV and seen the experience you have there, and for a GIS manager role in New Zealand, I would think somewhere in the range of 48,000 to 64,000 in pounds as a salary would be the sort of range I'd be thinking.
Well, that sounds very encouraging.
Now that's an offer he can't refuse. So what about Rosindra?
So you'd probably be looking at around about sort of 43 to 53,000 pounds. Someone with your background, the fact you've got a master's degree as well, and your level of experience.
Much more than what I was earning, so it's good. That's excellent.
It's been a quick-fire day with really encouraging news on the work front for both Chris and Rosindra. So the mood is upbeat as they meet to compare notes.
Hello.
Oh.
You're right.
Yeah, had a good day.
That's good.
Very positive, had a good interview. Possibly some leads on a job. So very positive so far.
Oh, I'm really pleased.
I could be starting around 45,000 UK pounds and working up to about 65,000. It's more than what I'm earning now, and it has the potential for the future, which is what I'm looking for.
Oh, it's good to hear.
And how was your day? How were your interviews?
I was quite pleasantly surprised. He liked my CV and he did say there are opportunities.
And what about the salary?
The salary is good. I mean, he said 42 and I almost fell off my chair. So it's almost double.
£42,000 pounds?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty good. So fingers crossed we can both secure the right opportunities. Quite optimistic.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
So let's guess how this vote goes.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. I'm really pleased.
Your dream is still alive. Okay,
Come on then,
let's go find the kids.
With prospects blossoming and love blooming, things are looking up. Halfway through their trial week, and it couldn't be going better for Ross's mission to convince her cautious husband, Chris, that their future lies in New Zealand. But there's still that all-important financial reality check and messages from home to come, and that can change everything. First, though, it's time for them to sample the sort of lifestyle the family might be able to enjoy down under. The Atkins family head off to spend the day at a local nature reserve. The weather has taken a turn for the worse, so it's time to get the wellies on down in Wellington. The family are being given a guided tour and getting up close to some Kiwi wildlife.
Hey, coming!
Sarah and Lucy get the chance to feed some very hungry native kaka.
Yes, hang there, Lucy.
Or maybe not so hungry.
I think yes.
In fact, these guys seem more interested in Mum's head.
He better not poo-poo on me.
Well, if they don't want to be fed, there are some less exotic species that will always want a bite to eat. Ducks. And the creature they meet before a spot of lunch looks like it could have them for lunch. But it's friendly, really. And as they eat New Zealand style, Chris is getting into the swing of things.
I guess that's how they roll out here in New Zealand.
Hey.
You cook outside.
A fun family day out for the Atkins is rounded off with a bit of a surprise.
Oh my God! What is that? We are here, we are out.
Yeah,
A call from home from Racindra's sister.
But Rowena, it's been really good. The interview's been good. The houses have been good.
Hi, Rowena. We're at this great bird sanctuary today, and a bird just landed on Ross's head. So that really cheered us all up.
Yeah. I don't know why. Of all the people to land on, he lands on me, Rowena.
That's good luck.
Yeah, I hope.
It is good luck.
Rowena, say hi to Lucy.
Hello, Rowena.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah.
You gotta put
Hi. Oh, I can hear the bird. It's a duck, silly.
Okay,
What do we
Rowena,
say?
thanks for calling. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.
Say bye. Say
Bye.
bye-bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
A friendly voice and increasingly receptive Chris. Surely Racindra must be delighted.
I don't know, I'm a bit scared. I've got a bit of cold feet and yeah, I'll be honest, I'm just a little bit afraid now.
That's a bolt from the blue. Clearly more thinking to be done. But based on today, will the family vote for lifestyle in the UK or New Zealand?
After a good day in New Zealand, our vote goes to...
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Sarah and Lucy not on board. And whilst Racindra may be harbouring some doubts, she certainly knows the secret to securing the children's vote.
Maybe we just need to convince the kids. Buy them an ice cream or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Come on,
Lucy,
then.
Sarah, do you want an ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey!
Okay, they're right up here.
It seems that Chris is swaying towards a move, but for Racindra, reality seems to be dawning, so the tables have turned. In any case, relocating to New Zealand could be a pipe dream if the figures don't stack up. Getting the right price for their UK home will be key. The couple think it's worth £310,000, but will two local estate agents agree? While the children are looked after by a childminder, Chris and Racindra are prepared to find out.
There's that little house.
Okay, so good size living and dining room space. I would definitely advise by knocking down the partition, opening up the space and enjoying the dual aspect of the property.
Thank you.
That's a good idea.
I'm
isn't
happy.
it?
Okay, reasonable sized kitchen, nice contemporary units, even space for a table and chairs. It's a nice space.
That looks really nice.
I could live in that.
Okay, so good sized double bedroom, needs a little bit of cosmetic attention, maybe sort of fill in the sort of few hairline fractures we have. Otherwise, good sized double.
So the upstairs is a very typical layout for houses of this period. We come into the second bedroom here and there's a really unusual feature in this cupboard which is built over the stairwell. I've seen dozens of these houses before and I've never seen that done, which is a really nice idea. Makes a really good space and you've still got room for a double bed. So it's a really good sized second bedroom.
So a true market valuation for the property would be in the region of £315,000. If the vendors were looking for a quick sell, I would advise putting the property on the market for £300,000, offers in excess of.
In today's market, I would value this house at between £310,000 and £320,000. For a quick sale, I would value it at £300,000.
So as a rental valuation, I would value the property in the region of £1,200 per calendar month.
If the owners wanted to rent, I would suggest a value of between £1,150 and £1,200 per calendar month.
I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I mean, it's around about what we were expecting, so, but it's really good.
So you're not upset or anything to think that somebody could move into that house or buy the property off us? It's been your family home.
The important thing is the family itself, and you make your home wherever you are.
Yeah. Come on then, new start, new start.
That's the spirit, Rosindra. Time to examine the cost of living. First, the weekly food shop.
Well, chicken, more expensive. We use a lot of chicken, don't we? But bananas are a lot more expensive.
The grocery bill looks like it'll be more expensive in New Zealand.
We do use quite a bit of that.
But by how much?
So £56 worse off a month in New Zealand.
£56 a month won't break the bank, but Chris and Rosindra have also to tackle the bigger outgoings. And there's nothing off the Richter scale until Rosindra reacts to one figure.
Home insurance, it's making me think that you have to pay more in New Zealand. And then my mind wanders and I think possibly it could be because of the earthquakes that are happening over here. And then I think, oh gee, earthquake. Do I want to move down under?
Chris has stunned written all over his face. It's yet another sign of doubt from Rosindra. Will the comparison of outgoings make things better or worse?
£300.
£300 per month.
Better off?
Better off in New Zealand.
Oh, that's good.
Well, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. It's happy news. Yeah, you should celebrate.
On firmer ground, they look at income. If Rosindra did get a job down under and Chris's income increased in line with the advice they were given...
This is an extra of £4,252 a month.
Per month. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
It's a significant amount of money, but Rosindra's erring on the cautious side.
But at the back of my mind, I keep thinking, you know, people always say if it looks too good to be true, then perhaps it's not true.
But for Chris, the numbers don't lie, and when all the figures are totalled, they'd be better off in New Zealand by over £4,000 a month. That's a massive £54,624 a year.
It's the lifestyle and the environment that you wanted.
Yes.
And I think we've proved that through the numbers that is actually attainable. It looks pretty positive.
Yes.
It's time to vote.
After going through our finances, our vote goes to...
New Zealand.
Knowing they'd thrive financially down under is motivating Chris, but the emotional cost has to be considered too. Lucy and Sarah are keen to join in as the family sit down to watch messages from loved ones back home.
Hi Rosie, hi Chris.
Hello guys, hi.
Hello, Chris and Rosie.
Chris and Rosie are very good at together. I think Chris is quite funny. He has a bit of a cold sense of humour, which works well because Rosie has the extrovert sense of humour.
Chris is very quiet. He is not adventurous in trying foreign food.
She's always been saying how nice and beautiful New Zealand is and she'd like to go and see and live there.
She said if she ever gets the opportunity to go to any country, she will choose New Zealand.
I think Chris might be a little bit more unsure about going, because obviously it's Rosie that is the one that wants to go.
Oh, I'll definitely miss like the daily conversations that we have, daily chats, because we talk quite a lot. I'll definitely miss seeing the girls.
I really want them to go and do well, but on the other hand, I'm really going to miss them.
Rosie's the only one here, so I get to go and see her, but if she's gone, then for me as well, it's going to be all alone, and it's really a long way to go.
But I will miss her a lot, and the children, if she goes, but it's one of them things.
I think you should just go for it. It's a great opportunity, and Rosie and Chris, before the children get too old and get settled where they are.
So if Rosie feels that New Zealand is going to have a better future for her, the family and the children, I feel Chris will agree.
I'll definitely support you 100%, whatever decision you make. Good luck.
So, what do you think?
So it is very difficult. As Chong said, it's a very long way away. That's one of the factors, isn't it? You have to weigh up in moving all the way out here. Will you be sad to leave the UK?
Yes, I will be, but the main point here is they've all given us their blessings, and at this point in our life, I think, yeah, we should take our chances and see what life has to offer for us.
Hearing from family and friends seems to have refocused Rosindra in her long-held ambition to move down under. Undoubtedly, it's a difficult decision. At the start of the week, free spirit Rosindra made it her mission to convince her more cautious and, yes, cynical husband, Chris, that they should risk it all on a move down under. He, however, wanted to find out whether the gamble was just too big to make. Now, as they approach the final vote, has she managed to win him round to her way of thinking? What would you do if it was you? After years of coaxing husband Chris to relocate down under, his attitude isn't what she anticipated.
I'm shocked at the fact that Chris is all go, go, go on Chris's side.
If anything, it's Rosindra who appears reluctant to take the leap.
You've stood at the edge of the cliff and you've waited like, come on guys, come on, come on. You look at yourself and you're like, am I ready? I spent all this time getting them here. Am I ready? Have I got my parachute on?
As ever, it's been the messages from home that have made a huge impact on the couple.
The friends and family messages do bring you back to reality and I guess show you what you're missing.
It's kind of a check and see, do you want to do this thing? It's a massive step moving the other side of the world. So maybe a little bit of doubt in my mind.
So as the final vote approaches, how are this very loving but very different couple feeling?
This is crunch time. The kids are young and we're not getting any younger.
There's a little bit of soul searching and some tough decision making to be done.
Will the family decide their destiny lies at home or away?
New Zealand!
UK.
Wow, Chris, you voted New Zealand. Well done. I'm pleased.
Yeah, you've won me round. I'm quite happy with what our lifestyle could be out here. Happy to give it a go.
Yay! Come on then.
Well, she did it. And finally, cautious Chris became Chris the convert. All they have to do now is work on little Sarah. Whatever move they make next, we'll be following their progress with interest and, of course, wishing them the best of luck.